Alrighty. Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers. Vikings 1-5, 1-2 on the road. Packers 5-1, 2-0 on the road. 38 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 21 mile per hour winds. We have some 20-plus mile per hour winds in a few different games here. This is one of them. Vikings coming off a bye week. They were last seen in an ugly 40-23 loss at home to the Falcons. Let's see what we are being offered here. This total opens up at 55. There's 55s on the board, also 54.5s. Green Bay is at -7. The first 6.5s have hit the board. And by the way, that -7 was at plus money. The first 6.5s have been on the board. Sean Dozier says, great call on the Packers last week. I ended up going 1-1 because I was also on the over. But Nutflush Allen, biggest bet of the year on Packers first half. And Bebsy, Packers first half and full game, cashes them both. Dennis Garcia says Green Bay blew them out already, but this seems too high for a Green Bay defense I don't trust. Jay-Z says it's Tuesday. I don't believe weather for Sunday right now. If worried, you wait. Jay-Z, I agree. Until this time of year, I start announcing the weather. But I agree. We should take the weather with a grain of salt, and I wait. I wait at least 6 weeks before I start talking about the weather in these videos.
I think I've been pretty vocal about how I feel about Tuesday weather predictions.
Yes, you despise them. You despise them. And that also was part of the reason why I wanted to throw them in for today's show, because your hate to them is so funny to some of us.
All right, Kirk Cousins, like pissing me off? Is that it?
Kirk Cousins was picked off 3 times in the first half for the first time in his career. It was ugly. They surrendered 40-plus points for the second time this year after going 5 straight seasons without doing it. Cousins ends up 24, 36, 343 yards, 3 TDs, 3 interceptions. Jefferson continues to shine, 9 receptions for 166 yards. Dalvin Cook set out with a groin injury. He's listed as questionable. They need him back. And one of the reasons why we bet against the Vikings in that game was not believing in Mattinson. You know, it's easy to do it once or twice, but when you have to keep doing it, that's when you start looking. That's when you start realizing how hard it is. And Mike Davis is showing us that in Carolina. It's how hard it is to do that week in and week out. All right. So the Vikings netted only 32 rushing yards. 32 rushing yards. Cornerback Mike Hughes left in the second quarter. That injury had kept him out for 2 games. And then he came back and then he left again. And then another quarterback, Holton Hill, was inactive for the second straight game. They're both listed as questionable. If they're not in the lineup, only 3 available players at cornerback, and they're all rookies. Guard Drew Samaya and wide receiver KJ Osborne are all both listed as questionable. Then we go to the Packers. Giant bounce back. Rodgers goes 23 for 34 for 283 yards, 4 touchdowns. And they beat Houston easily, 35-20 at Houston. They did that without their leading rusher, Aaron Jones, without their left tackle, David Bakhtiari. And they're both questionable again this week. Devontae Adams, 13 passes for 196 yards. I mean, it did help that the Texans' best corner got hurt right away, and Adams took advantage of it. Linebacker Chris Barnes injured his shoulder. Safety Raven Green hurt his oblique. They're both listed as questionable. Safety Darnell Savage, defensive tackle Tyler Lancaster, and cornerback Kevin King are all listed as questionable. What do you think of this spot, Bebsy, Vikings-Packers?
You know, I think this is one of those spots similar to the Chiefs-Broncos game last week where you just have to get all the bullshit out of the way and look at the fact that one team is considerably better than the other. The Vikings, aside from really 1 or 2 weeks where they played hot, they've looked terrible all year. They're struggling on offense. Cousins looks bad. They have all kinds of holes on defense. They have a horrible secondary, and what do you need to combat Aaron Rodgers? You need a great secondary. So to me, this, you know, at first I was like, oh, maybe this is too many points to give the Packers. But the more and more I think about it, like a touchdown, this Packers team is very good. And it looks like they reset themselves. Rodgers is back on that warpath. I really just feel like common sense dictates the Packers should roll hard in this one.
I'm certainly not going to take the Vikings, but I've been hesitant to back the Packers. And I know they rewarded you richly last week, and I did jump on for the first half because I expected the bounce back spot. But here I see a Vikings team where this is their Super Bowl. They're done. They're coming off a bye week. And I'm just a little hesitant. Let's talk about this total now, Bebsy. Opened up at 55 down to 54. One thing that I was concerned about, and I messaged you with it when we were watching games on Sunday, was that I don't like being on an over when the Packers have the lead because they'll just run the clock, relax and run the clock. And Rodgers so good at that. This is a pretty high total. If the Packers do get a lead, I think it's pretty high. What do you think of this total of 55 now 54?
Well, yeah, I agree with you. As soon as the Packers get up, and they should, all logic suggests that they should get up and get up early, then yeah, they can put it into cruise control. They can run the ball. Even if Jones is out, they can run the ball. They have a talented line. They have a dump truck of a running back in A.J. Dillon. They still have Williams there. I feel like, yeah, that under is in play. The team total seems like a lot. I just feel like we could be overthinking this entirely with the Packers on that spread. It's just they're so much better than the Vikings this year.
So are you ready to make moves, and what moves are they going to be?
I am going to take the Packers at -6.5.
All right. Let me see what I can offer you here. Let's get it up. The Packers full game -6.5. The best line I can give you is -114 at DraftKings and Bet Rivers.
Actually, what's just out of curiosity, because it's been working for me, what's that first half in the Green Bay game?
The first half is Packers -4. I'll see if I can find you a 3.5. The team total, our Nutflush Allen's asking about the Packers team totals at 30.5. That's juiced to the over. All right, let's get you the first half. See if I can find a 3.5. First half. Here we go. Yes. Wow, it's heavily juiced. So I don't know what you would prefer, a -3.5 at -129 at Bet Rivers, or a -4 at -105 at Bet365 and PointsBet.
You know me, I'm a coward that won't be pushed around. Give me the juice 3.5.
Wow, that sounds like a coward that's being pushed around.
Oh, wow. What's your record?
Okay, I'm just saying that if you weren't getting pushed around, you would have taken the 4. All right, -3.5, -129. First half. Okay, first half.
Bakhtiari was out last week. I said it's not a factor. They're so good. They're so well coached on that O-line. And Bakhtiari is great, but it's just not it's just not the end of the world if he's out. That's how well that O-line is coached.
And you want the full game at 6.5. And that's at -114 at DraftKings.
I just want to ride the pack right now, and I feel like, again, this is a spot that I think it's just being overthought. I don't care that Minnesota's coming off the bye. They're just not good right now.
All righty. There you go.
Mr. Funman saying my worry is TB exposed Green Bay's defense. Listen, Tampa Bay is loaded with talent. You can't look at that Minnesota roster and say they have anywhere near the talent that Tampa Bay does. It's just it's apples and oranges. Sure, you can. I could expose defenses if I had a healthy Godwin and a healthy Evans and Gronkowski. Look, we could put Nate Peterman behind that team, and he's probably still going to throw a bunch of interceptions, but I bet you get some touchdowns too.
And Godwin not going to be in the lineup, it looks like, this Sunday.
Yeah, he had finger surgery.
Yeah. All righty. I got to stop saying all righty. It makes me feel like I'm at a
all righty
cribbage game.
Let's get on to the next one, fellas. Let's have ourselves some fun.
Vikings, Packers in the books, and I've yet to make a move. Bebsy doubles up on the Packers.